Hello, welcome back to my channel, Death Before Decaf. If you are new here, my name is Emily. I am a master's student in history at McGill University. I also work a 9-to-5 and I run a small business in children's entertainment. And on this channel, we like to talk about the grind, we like to talk about being busy, we like to talk about alternative paths through jobs, through academia, and we like to question all of our life choices. And that's exactly what we're doing today. I'm gonna be talking about why I choose to do my master's full-time on top of having a full-time 9-to-5 and on top of managing a small business. I'm gonna talk about why I do it, how you can do it, and why you probably shouldn't. And hopefully that gives you a sort of an idea of how I run all these things, why, and then perhaps the bad parts of it, the bad side, if you want, of the hustle. But without further ado, let's go into why I do it. So let's start with a very practical reason. I need money. School is very expensive, life is very expensive. My MA is not fully funded. It is not funded much at all, as a matter of fact. And because this is my first graduate school experience, but I have 3 undergraduate degrees, and I accumulated quite a lot of debt from those 3 undergrad degrees. And when I went into my MA, I told myself, you know, I'm going to follow my dreams and I'm gonna go with my heart, but I also don't want to sabotage myself financially. I refuse to do that. And so for that reason, I knew that I was gonna at least work as many hours as I possibly could, but I didn't know that I was gonna end up working a 9-to-5. And honestly, we'll get more into how that happened when I talk about why. But me getting this job and the one before, this sort of path towards my 9-to-5 in marketing was very unplanned. It was very like word of mouth, and it was very sort of accidental. So for that reason, it sort of happened just like that. But working that 9-to-5, it helps me pay for my school. It helps me always have like a steady paycheck every 2 weeks in my bank account. It helps me save money for buying a house. That is something I'm trying to do. It helps me travel and live my life to the fullest without sort of being held back by the financial constraints of graduate school. And also, you know, that being said, I'm fully aware that the humanities and academia and history are not jobs where it's sort of like being an artist, right? It's a little bit of luck, a little bit about who you know, a little bit about the sacrifices that you're willing to make. And so I'm aware that it's possible that my life might not take me on this perfect trajectory of like tenure track professorship. And so I've always found it important to have something that I could fall on if things got crazy, if the university closed or whatever it may be. And so I know that I will always have, you know, my experience and my skills in marketing to fall back on if I need to. But that's not really it. There's also a personality reason. Like, I can never do just one thing. I'm someone who is very multi-passionate, and I crave simulation and independence and this sense of ownership over my time and my ideas, even if my calendar looks like an absolute cry for help. But it helps me, you know, in increasingly financially difficult times. It helps me have some sense of ownership over my finances. And I also kind of like it. I kind of like doing that, even though I'm also sabotaging myself. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But that's mostly the why. The small business, same idea. It just kind of happened to me, and I really, really love it. I manage a small business in children's entertainment. We offer like magical characters for events and birthday parties and festivals and whatnot. And I really love having staff. I really love chatting with customers. I really love the marketing aspect of it. I really love sort of building this little like empire of princesses, and overall I just really love it. So even if, you know, I think that if I had to lose one of my 2 jobs, either the 9-to-5 or the small business management, I would keep that one because it's very creative. It's so much fun and it has a lot of growth potential, and I'm very, very, very independent in that position. So again, it's mostly by accident, and we'll talk about what I mean by that when I explain how you can do it too. All right, so one of the most important pieces of advice that you will ever receive and that you should absolutely follow is to trust and act upon the power of networking. When the reason why I have my 9-to-5 in marketing is not because I studied in marketing, it's because I applied for a position as a communications officer for a history project in my undergrad, and I really loved it. And then as part of my job as manager of a small business, I started doing social media, and that became successful, and my Instagram became successful, and that sort of all happened in the same period of a year or two. So I got people who were willing then to offer me really strong recommendation letters for jobs in marketing and communications because I had done good work in those fields for them. And then I decided to complement that with getting a Google Career Certificate in digital marketing and e-commerce, and then a Google Career Certificate in graphic design. So because I kind of like accidentally found myself a skill at social media marketing, then the people I knew, word of mouth, reference letters, and I wanted to be confident when I applied for jobs in marketing and not just be like, I wanted to have training to support my experience. So that's basically how I sort of built that up. And then when it came to doing that at the same time as everything else, I think it is very, very crucial that I insist that I am extremely privileged because I work from home most days of the week. On Tuesdays and Wednesdays, I'm expected to be in the office, but all the other days I get to work from home. It gives me a lot of flexibility. And if it was not for that, I could not be in the office and do my master's, obviously. So if you can find a work from home job, that is the secret to making all of this happen. Not commuting saves me hours during the week. I can sneak in readings on my lunch breaks. I can handle admin for the business between meetings. It is the key, if I'm honest with you. And it might be a disappointing thing to hear because it's not 2020 anymore, but go on like job search pages that are strictly work from home and find something at least hybrid, but hopefully all work from home. That's my recommendation. I mentioned a little bit earlier about the power of networking, and honestly, all of these positions that I found myself in were because of recommendation letters and word of mouth. And honestly, that's the main thing. And I know that it's hard to put yourself out there, and I know it's so tricky to, you know, make friends, especially in grad school. I find it's a really big challenge for me, honestly, because I'm always just like hunched over a computer. But the people that you know are really going to get you the opportunities that you want and deserve. So make sure that you really put yourself out there and don't be scared, don't be shy. You deserve these positions. You just need to know the right people. That being said, the importance of your network is not just to get these opportunities. I have a lot of help. I have a very supportive partner who, when I have a busy week, he takes on more tasks at home and vice versa. I have excellent friends to whom I can complain, who I can vent to, who I can, at the end of a long week, go for a drink to save me from burnout. And all of those things are not small. They are essential to success in doing all of those things together. And I would not be able to do it without the people I knew for networking business reasons, but also the people in my life that allow me to stay sane. The third thing is ruthless scheduling, and I really actually do mean that. Every Sunday I sit and I look at my week ahead and I make a large to-do list, and then I break that large to-do list into day to-do lists, and I make sure that everything gets done. Some things are pushed forward to the next day or pushed forward to the next week. It happens, but I'm very ruthless with my scheduling. I don't do last minute plans. I don't do day off plans. They do not happen. My Google Calendar, my physical planner look like a rainbow of doom, but it works. So study blocks, client calls, meal breaks, writing, Pilates. It's all in the schedule. If it's not in the schedule, it does not exist. Something else is accepting that some balls will drop. The glass balls fall sometimes, the rubber ones bounce. That's totally fine. I forget things sometimes. I get overwhelmed a lot. I cry over emails. I forget to schedule things. It happens. I pride myself in my organization, so it doesn't happen too often, but it will. It does happen, and it's okay. We just take it one day, one step at a time, and we move on to the next one. It'll be fine. It all works out in the end. Here's why I don't recommend it. Just because I'm doing it really does not mean you should. As a matter of fact, if you can focus all of your time and energy and love and passion to one thing, and if you're that kind of person, I envy you very much so, because I'm always like, oh, I'm not putting enough time towards this. And the next week it'll be, oh, I'm not putting enough time towards that. And it's always something or another. And especially if you're trying to make a career in academia or in the humanities, it is a labor of love, and it is so competitive that the more time you can dedicate to it, the better. So if I could not have anything else and just focus on my MA and not be losing sleep over my finances, I would. That would be great. And that's why I'm like constantly applying for grants or fellowships and anything where I can get some financial support in my MA, because sometimes you know, it's exhausting to be constantly switching gears between a student, a professional, an entrepreneur. It's mental whiplash, and it does get really exhausting at the end of the day. There's also no off switch. I actually do not remember the last time I had a true day off without checking an email, without answering a client call, without doing a reading, so on and so forth. So there is no days off, honestly. And for that reason, burnout is always lurking. It's always around the corner, and I do everything that I can to keep it away from me through, you know, therapy, working out, eating well, seeing my friends, keeping life exciting. But it's always around the corner. And is my lifestyle right now sustainable long term? I'm not sure. And that's, sometimes it scares me a little, because I'm wondering, you know, I function, sure, yeah, I make it all happen, but will I still be able to do that in 5 years and in 10 years and so on and so forth? And the answer is probably not. So understand what you're trading if you are considering this path. The mental whiplash, the no days off, the burnout always lurking, it's a lot. And those are the reasons why I would not recommend it. But I understand the attraction of it. So do as I say, not as I do. Maybe? I don't know. A little coda about things that I've learned through doing all of this. First of all, I've learned to protect my time like it's gold, and I don't fall for, pardon my French, bullshit anymore. I learned to detect what's relevant from what is not. I learned not to waste time or energy on things that are not worth it. And in that vein, I have become very disciplined with those things and with, you know, my life as a whole. But also, I've learned that discipline is not about being perfect. It's about returning to the priorities over and over and over again, and falling off, but returning. And success, then, it does not always look clean, and it doesn't always look like it does on the screen. You know, I cannot count the amount of rejections that I've gotten from grants and fellowships. I cannot count the amounts of days that I did not write a single thing because I was procrastinating or because I was too busy with other things. But I have sort of learned to be kinder to myself through that. Like pushing things from the to-do list of Monday to Tuesday and, you know, drinking too much coffee. I've sort of learned to accept the flaws in the romanticization of a busy lifestyle, and I think that that's essential, because if you think it's always going to look like it does on Instagram, then you're gonna have a tough go at that. So learning to trust myself, learning to embrace the flaws, learning to embrace the challenges and the difficulties, and protecting my time, protecting my peace and my energy, are things that I've learned through doing all of this. So if you are in the trenches with work, school, your own projects, name it, drop me a comment down below. Let me know what's been keeping you busy lately. Anything that you're struggling with, we can talk about it. We can give each other advice. If you like this breakdown of overcommitted life, give this video a like, give it a subscribe, and remember that you can do hard things. It doesn't mean you have to do all the things. I will then catch you in my next one. Until then, stay sharp, stay real, take your meds, drink your water, eat your vegetables, and never settle for decaf. Take care. Bye-bye.